Hello, Darek, Surav. Thank you for joining me for this data sommelier episode. Believe me or not, but more than 2 years ago, when I've seen the potential of DuckDB, I've told my good friend Vincent Huchling, who is also hosting the Big Data podcast. I told him, Vincent, this product will be bigger sooner or later because someone will develop an ETL on top of DuckDB. That was more than 2 years ago, and I'm very happy that you did it. I started to investigate your solution, Duckle. That is a kind of composition on top of DuckDB. It's an ETL, it's a graphical interface. You can use DuckDB as a kind of central engine. You visually develop your stream, your pipeline, and it works very well already. So thank you for joining me, and we are here to learn more about Duckle, why you did that, and how you are doing this, and what kind of features we can expect from this Duckle ETL solutions. So thank you, Dark and the team for this presentation. Up to you to present the solution right now.
Well, thanks for having us to start with, and you are absolutely right. Given the popularity of DuckDB and the set of features that DuckDB provides out of the box, it was a kind of obvious 2 years ago when the project started that eventually an ETL tool will come out of it. The idea actually came to both of us at work because we are coworkers from another life, and we were just discussing the needs for high-speed data transformation that was using JSON and CSV files, and needed to insert that data to a instance of Postgres or Cassandra or several other systems. And we realized that since DuckDB is capable of not just reading the data, but also executing SQL statements to insert the data to other systems, we just ask ourselves, what would happen if we just tried it? Because we didn't want to continue investing in talent. We needed a system that would run with minimal resources and minimum effort. And that discussion actually led to the creation of Duckle. The initial tests were simple. Write the SQL scripts for Duckle and see that actually it can perform the job. And after our initial experiments were quite successful and providing a lot of value for literally near zero cost, we realized that there's a potential for a product to be created, another DuckDB. And I need to stress this out. Duckle will not be as successful as it is today without DuckDB. DuckDB is truly the workhorse behind Duckle. And the concept of the tool itself is that you should not require any infrastructure to be pre-started for you, pre-configured for you, even on the edge. So Duckle can run anywhere. It can run on Windows, it can run on Linux, it can run on Mac OS, or even on Raspberry Pi on the edge. And as compared to the other tool, we strongly believe that this is the primary reason for tremendous interest from the open source industry in our little hobby project. As of this week, we have over 1,000 followers on LinkedIn, and it's just mind-blowing how quickly this little toy is taking off. So let me first walk through a couple of slides, and then maybe we can take a look at a demo.
Okay.
As mentioned a few minutes ago, the cloud cost explosion is significant at this point. I mean, if you take a look at the cost it takes to run Snowflake or any other or any ETL tool for that matter, the costs are staggering. It's really efficient and cheap to put the data in, for example, in Snowflake, but in terms of running any aggregates on top of that data, it's becoming really expensive really fast. Second, every time you need to involve another system between two persistence stores, additional latency will be incurred. With Duckle, you can reduce that latency slightly at least by placing the ETL tool near or as near as possible the persistence store that you would like to target, either on the read side or on the write side. And finally, what Duckle offers is an enhanced privacy, because once the pipeline is designed, it supports the standard configuration options in terms of using passwords or any other secrets from the command line. Your ability to execute in a secure process only increases, especially in Linux, which by default is a highly secure environment. Of course, we're looking at what the industry is doing. So there is a tremendous potential from a financial perspective for Duckle itself. We're not yet commercializing this product, but we are actively researching what kind of support model we could offer to the users of Duckle, because in the corporate environment you can't really rely on GitHub support tickets or our Discord channel.
Yeah, so it's a very new product. It's version 0.5 something, and it's more that prototype. It's beyond a prototype because it's a working environment. You can use it to develop your pipeline. It works already, and but you are listening to the community feedback and you are improving the product every day. I can see on the GitHub that almost each 2 or 3 days there's a new version.
We listen to the community very closely, and I think that's what the community appreciates the most, that our reaction time is measured literally in sometimes hours, from the idea inception to the delivery in latest patch. Sometimes it takes us only a few hours to implement, thanks, of course, to tremendous advancements that have been made with agentic code generation. I'm not going to hide here. We don't have superhuman abilities to code everything ourselves. So we do rely on some open source model to assist us with generating a newer version as quickly as possible.
Yeah, of course. And I remember I've submitted the request to be able to install Duckle on Coolify, and the week after it was available. So thanks for that.
That's great to hear. I think I saw another comment on LinkedIn where literally Saurav was able to turn a new feature in within literally like 8 hours. So I'm really privileged to consider Saurav my technical peer in this project.
Yeah. So just a quick word on Coolify. That's an option to run Duckle on your own VPS. So it's not your own laptop, it's your own VPS somewhere in the cloud. And this is very powerful. So it means you can get the benefit of having your own VPS, but with Duckle running on it. And it's just one click of installation and boom, you get it.
That's right. And also the other thing worth stressing out is that although the Duckle itself application runs either on Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, the moment you compile your ETL pipeline into a deployable module, you get to choose what is the target operating system that you would like to run it on. In other words, you can be working on Windows, but designing pipelines as binary pipelines, which is another differentiator in this space for the target operating system. So while on Windows, we can build for Linux, we can build for Mac OS, and to execute such a pipeline, the only thing that is required is copy the executable to the target environment and execute with the correct configuration parameters.
Okay, very clear. Okay.
Excellent. So again, we're not competing with DuckDB, right? Anyone could do it. Literally, anyone can do this, can replicate our idea. And we are truly grateful for the latest developments in DuckDB space. Things like the Quark protocol. I believe there is a tremendous opportunity to create a system that would be able to process quite significant amount of data in the shortest time possible in a distributed cluster architecture.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, DuckDB itself, you can process millions of records in few seconds. This is what you can expect from DuckDB. And so
Yes, indeed. And we did some experiments with both Parquet files and JSON files, and the results are always the same. To read a million records in Parquet and process them and transform them takes literally 2 seconds, or sometimes even billions of records takes 2 seconds to read and 7 seconds to write. Of course, it all depends on how the data is being transformed, right? Because Duckle and DuckDB does not relieve you from understanding how the target or source technology operates. So in the case of Parquet file writes, you got to comprehend that they are more expensive than read. It's really easy to and fast to read a Parquet file, but it takes additional resources both on the compute side and on the input-output side to commit the new data to target. We do our best to leverage all the optimization parameters available in DuckDB itself. We have the option to materialize data during data extraction. In other words, many people are very familiar with, for example, indexed views in SQL Server or materialized views in Oracle. We have borrowed the concept of it in DuckDB, and there is a simple switch that you can toggle to quote unquote pre-cache the data itself, either in memory as a temporary table or in a local file that DuckDB would create for you.
yeah, that's the magic of DuckDB. You can work in memory or land the data on disk somewhere, and it's very easy. Same concept, same logic, but you decide. Yeah, exactly.
Duckle, in a way, could be compared to Apache Flink from the open source community. And where it differs is, again, the deployment model, right? In the case of Apache Flink, or in the commercial space, the case of Talent or Click, you require a cluster of servers to operate at scale. With Duckle, you literally just need one binary. With ultra low latency, with no additional network hops. We can also run in a browser, which is a new concept for many of the data scientists. And I believe that's the other differentiator in the ETL space, that the data scientist doesn't have to even install anything on their laptop, not even Duckle, so they can just load it from a website and start processing data locally without having to concern himself with the infrastructure setup that would be required.
Yeah, exactly. I remember a demonstration 2 years ago, and the speaker was demonstrating how to use DuckDB in WASM, and this is maybe the main usage of DuckDB right now, right? Embedding the solution in a kind of predefined analytical wizard and dashboard things, something like that. Everything embedded in one click button. You can see your data in your browser.
Absolutely. In my past, I used to be a IBM Cognos Analytics advisor, and I see some parallels in that space inside the DuckDB itself. The analytical functions, the windowing function, the ability to even add your own additional modules, either from the community, from the core, or written by yourself to further enhance analytics in large data sets. It's truly impressive. And the ease of deployment is just, for lack of a better word, mind blowing. A few additional worth things to mention is many ETL tools do not provide version control or provide the version control in a way that is difficult to track or integrate into CI/CD pipelines. With Duckle, we are Git native. All we store is a definition of the pipeline itself in the JSON file, and that file can be checked into any target repository. After the pipeline is built, again, just push to the edge, push to the cloud, push to the data center, or keep it locally and continue executing.
Okay.
For more secure deployments, it is fully air-gapped, right? So there's no need to be connected between dev, QA, developers, and production. You can literally put it on a USB drive and connect to a target system if such a requirement would present itself.
Okay. Yeah. Very flexible architecture. In fact. Yeah.
Indeed. So that's about 4 slides. So maybe we can take a look at a little bit at the user interface itself. Plus, we would love to show you what the latest creation is, since there is so much interest in Duckle itself. We thought it would be appropriate to create a learning set for all prospective Duckle users to understand how the system behaves, what is required for setup, what is required for the pipeline to function. And it's a simple tutorial, 70 slides that walks you from start to finish on designing the ETL pipeline and then deploying it in a target system.
So you have one URL to remember, duckle.org, and boom, you are there.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm not sure if I have stressed one important aspect of DuckDB and Duckle. 359 components. That's where we stand today. And that's a combination of what Duckle has to offer in terms of data transformation and what DuckDB offers out of the box in terms of connectivity. I don't think there is another ETL tool currently on the market that would be able to compete with such flexibility for day-to-day use.
Yeah. What do you mean by components? It's connectors, external libraries, or
all of it actually.
It's something you have developed on your own, or it's an assemblage of different components?
Yes. So if you look at the Duckle UI, let me just quickly move. Come on. If you look at Duckle UI, there is several components in the catalog itself that define your sources. So we started with CSV and TSV, which were our meat initially, and then we just kept adding on it. JSON files, XML files, Avro, sources, Click, Parquet, YAML. All of those we call components because they do participate in the creation of the pipeline itself. Other types of components are filters. We also have multiple connectors for the source and target database, including Duck Lake, which is another system that I truly admire, the way it was designed, the way the metadata was separated from the data itself. I believe in one of the podcasts I've heard someone, oh, that's just cheating. No, it's not cheating. It's just executing the architecture the way it should have been executed from the start.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Postgres is the number one database, huh?
Yes, we also recognize that DuckDB can use Postgres as a source or can be embedded as a source for Postgres itself. So the flexibility of using DuckDB and Postgres also offers new ways to process data at scale with very low latency and very, very low cost as compared to other systems.
Okay, so for example, I can see ClickHouse, I can see some Databricks SQL. This is connectors you have developed on your side, or did you reuse some existing connectivity or connectors?
Most of these connectors we have reused from the community and the core extensions of DuckDB.
Okay, okay.
And one person in particular comes to mind. Oh, I forgot his name. It's the gentleman from Query Farm. He is such a tremendous inspiration for both of us.
It's Rusty.
Rusty, yes.
Rusty.
Rusty Conover. Yes, Rusty Conover. I think the first time I've seen his presentation on using DuckDB with large language models, and I believe the presentation was called Taking a Flight with DuckDB or something like that. It's on YouTube. It's one of the most popular videos, how to use DuckDB with LLMs. He is a tremendous inspiration for us to create and add functionality for Duckle as well.
Okay, because I can see some connectivity going to Teradata. I don't know if it's a pre-built connector from the DuckDB community or this is something you have added on top. Yeah, it's very surprising connectors.
Yes.
So Teradata connectors are actually custom code which we have written in Rust. So there are LansDB connectors as well, which are like written in Rust and loaded as crates.
Yeah,
Inside
this is also very surprising because LansDB is at the early stage of everything, and it's a kind of a multimodal layer. And you already have a connector for LansDB. That's crazy.
Yeah, LansDB, some of the users are using it actually. And so it was a community request.
Okay, that's good. That's very.
Yeah.
It's more than nice to have. It's LansDB is maybe the future. So you already have it. So that's good. Yeah.
We also can connect to event streaming, so we can process data real time. And one of the concepts that we have tested is combining data from different temperature of persistence. So think of some of your archives living in S3 on Amazon, and then your more real-time data from the past 12 months living in Postgres, and finally the last 5 minutes or the last 60 minutes coming straight from Kafka or RabbitMQ. With DuckDB, we have the ability to consolidate all of those resources into a single view, and the end user is never the wiser which the actual persistence layer the data is coming from, because it all looks the same.
Okay, so you can design a pipeline with multiple sources and maybe multiple targets, but just explain what the concept behind that. You are recreating a kind of SQL code, or what's the idea behind that?
So once the pipeline is defined, you can actually export it as SQL, because in the end it is just SQL, and that SQL is a simple definition of the data sources itself that would have to be imported into the DuckDB engine at runtime. and the transformations between those data sources.
Okay. So at the end, DuckDB is the engine where everything is processed.
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
And here's an example. So in this simple ETL, where we read from Parquet files, we apply a filter, and we write to Parquet files. The three stages are create a view on top of a read Parquet operation, then create a filter, which is another view which selects from the first source and filters only the records that have failed. And finally, we end up with a final SQL statement, which copies from the second view to the target destination.
Okay. Very clear. Yes.
And that's
So
in the gist. It's always the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So you translate the different syntax of the different sources, and the common denominator is DuckDB.
Correct. And we sometimes we have to leverage native SQL of the source or target databases, and Duckle is completely aware of the capabilities of each of those sources.
Yeah.
So
because if I remember from the past, Teradata can be very specific or very special. So you cannot maybe it can be very complex to handle all the features of Teradata. Maybe. So what's the idea behind that when you are connected to such sources, very specific sources?
I can't yet say, because we are still at version 0.5.3, that we have all of that catalog and documented, and we leverage this in the current version of Duckle.
Okay.
But where we know that a feature exists, we will take care of it. We will leverage it for the purpose of the ETL process to make it more efficient. Saurav and I have been in this industry for quite some time, so we have seen a few of those features in action, and we are fully aware of their capabilities. Therefore, when we design a new module and a new transformation, we can selectively apply those optimization steps inside the ETL process itself. And that's the other differentiator from the mainstream ETL tools. In the mainstream ETL tools, you have to know your source or target. You have to understand how it behaves. Duckle and DuckDB removes the complexity from the operator duties. You no longer have to remember what each of those source and target systems have to offer.
Yeah. Okay.
We
Good.
take care of it.
So step by step, you integrate more sources and more transformation. That's great. But obviously, you have already you have CSV, Parquet, Iceberg, the very classic one. You have all of them.
Yes, all of them are available. We also offer the standardized transformations like mapping, reordering, renaming, creating derived columns, or even replacing null data with whatever the end user prefers. We can create circuit keys, which is part of your ETL transformations as well. We can filter rows. We can deduplicate the data with distinct. We can take samples of data. For example, if you are executing just a proof of concept or an experiment, you don't want to read 10 billion rows of your data. You only want to have the first 100 or something like that. We can group. We can roll up in different ways. That goes back to the analytics comments you've made. We can group the data in a cube-like way, which allows you to slice and dice data very efficiently. Then we can join the data. So this is not just one-to-one process. In some scenarios, our users combine the data from a Parquet source, a CSV source, a Postgres source, and a RESTful source. And it comes on the other end of the ETL pipeline as a consolidated view of all of them.
Okay.
Well, we can go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is kind of this is SQL component or Python code or what's behind it?
This is based on Rust.
Ah, Rust. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Rust is also the future of Python, maybe.
Yes, and Rust is another project that has inspired us to deliver the best quality possible in the ETL space. It's still very, very new. There is not too many people that understand how to use it effectively, but the speed at which it's progressing is quite impressive.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
it is
we've
highly
seen
secure.
we have seen the people from DBT Labs switching to Rust with DBT Core version 2. So Rust is more and more popular. Yes.
Yes. Few more esoteric transformations. We can strip HTML. We can parse IP addresses, which might come handy in network traffic analysis.
Okay. So you have a lot of components already. If we want to contribute, what's the workflow? Can we develop something on our side and push this on the marketplace? Are you ready with that or not yet ready?
We welcome all contributions. So all that is required is follow the standard open source practices. Fork our repository, create a new component or a new change, and submit a merge request. And that merge request will be reviewed, and if accepted, it will become part of the
Okay, so what's the entry point if we want to contribute? Are we going to connect to Duckle.org, or are we going to join the GitHub, or what's the call to action right now?
Absolutely. So if you go to Duckle.org, you can go straight to our GitHub repository. And this is where all the code for this application lives, including a little bit of a explanation what it is, what it isn't, what it is built on. So we use Rust with Tower 2 and React 19. We use DuckDB. The license at the moment is MIT and/or Apache 2.0. We support all three platforms, and only submissions that support all three platforms will be accepted because one of the tenets of Duckle is to continue support for all source and target systems. It gives you a few links how to get started. It also has a section on a little sub-project that is still in development, but it's fully functional. We have embedded an AI assistant inside Duckle. We call it Ducky. And instead of designing the pipeline by hand, you can simply ask Ducky, here are the data sources, and design me a pipeline that will produce this output.
Okay. So that's
we
that's
also
great.
have Claude MCPs integrated into Duckle.
Yeah, okay, MCP is already ready to be used. Excellent.
Yes.
So this is a side project, right?
Yes, for now.
For now, but I feel it's very attractive because you are using components, very popular components. DuckDB is one, and it's easy to install, easy to use. It's with a graphical interface. I predict that this will be a successful project. I hope so. And so the call to action is joining you, contribute, using the products, and what are the roadmap? What is the roadmap for the next few months? It's community driven. We ask some features and you develop them, or how do you decide which direction you are going to follow?
For the time being, the direction is dictated by our early adopters. So the more input we get from people who use Duckle, that is going to dictate our near time strategy.
Okay.
Our long-term strategy is to commercialize the product, to offer a support model for our customers. But we will always offer a free version of this because we wouldn't be here with the support of open source community.
Okay, very nice project. I will continue to follow you, and I will. It's in my to-do list to evaluate the product, and happy to see such projects on the market. Well done, well done, and yeah, let's try to reconnect in few months and see where you are. But I predict that this project will be very successful.
Thank you so much, and again, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate you reaching out, and we will stay in touch.
Thank you, gentlemen. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you.
VFJP,